We got a loaded show of blockbuster trade rumors here on this edition of Seahawks Today. First off, could Justin Fields find his way to Seattle as the next Seahawks quarterback? And what about Geno Smith? If Fields makes his way to Seattle, does Geno Smith get involved in the trade and head to Chicago himself and reunite with Shane Waldron? We'll explore all these possibilities and more coming up in just a matter of moments. Now, I know we don't know who the next Seahawks head coach is, but who do you think is going to be the Seahawks starting quarterback in 2024? Is it one of these two guys? Is it a rookie? Is it somebody else? Very curious. Who will be the Seahawks starting quarterback in 2024? Weigh in the comment section. Tell us what you think. Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears quarterback, is being shopped heavily as the Chicago Bears hold the number one overall pick. Many expect them to end up selecting Caleb Williams, the quarterback out of USC, leaving Fields as the odd man out. And CBS Sports did a list of potential destinations of where Fields could ultimately end up, and Seattle was named as one of the top spots. Listen to this from Cody Benjamin. Geno Smith just landed a new deal as their veteran starter last offseason. But his injury-riddled season may not stop Seattle from exploring younger alternatives, as team brass did around the 2023 draft. In the playoff push, they're unlikely to secure a top 5 or top 10 selection to target the best of the 2024 crop, and Smith can be designated a post-June 1 cut to save $22.5 million. Remember, Pete Carroll thrived for years working with a more mobile QB in Russell Wilson. Now, I don't mind the idea of Justin Fields at all and the possibility of him being the starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks next season. That sounds intriguing to me. But I'm not giving up the farm. We're not throwing all we got. We're not giving up all the pigs and the cows and giving up all our milk and butter and everything to bring Justin Fields in here. To me, it's got to be done very precisely if this is going to happen, because the Seahawks don't have a ton of assets that they need to depart from. Fields, a former first-round pick out of Ohio State. He's been starting the last 3 seasons, and you look at what he's done. He has showed flashes. He's had his moments. He already holds 8 NFL records since joining the league in 2021, and the talent around him has not been very great. The coaching staff, I feel like, has kind of set him up to fail. I'm not a fan of Matt Eberflus at all, and yet Fields has still played at a relatively high level despite the circumstances he's been under. This past season, Fields had a completion percentage of 61%, over 2,500 yards, 16 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But one of the most impressive things about Fields is his mobile ability, with 657 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns this past season. So here is what I'm looking at. This is what I mean by not giving up the farm. If Chicago will take a third-round pick, and I understand, I'm going to say this right off the jump before some of you are all after my head when I say this. I don't think that it's likely Seattle could get this done with a third-round pick. This is, I think, for Seattle, the best-case scenario where you say, we'll do this, but we're not going to go any further here. I can live with giving up a third-round pick for Justin Fields and bringing him in and going from there. You don't have a second-round pick, so you'd have to go to next year. And I'm certainly not giving up that first-round pick. This I can live with, the idea of giving up a third-round pick. Now, your turn to be John Schneider. Should the Seahawks trade for Justin Fields? Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comments section. Tell us what you think if Seattle should bring in Fields or not. Today's show is sponsored by Factor. I got to tell you, I love me some Factor meals. Very easy to make. They taste very good as well. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel it fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered right to your door. When things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule deliveries anytime. Head to factormeals.com/CLXChat50. Use code CLXChat50 to get 50% off. That's code CLXChat50 at factormeals.com/CLXChat50 to get 50% off. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Factor Meals, good. All right, now, here's an idea, okay? If we're going to talk about the idea of Justin Fields coming to Seattle, then there's a big elephant in the room. What do you do with Geno Smith? You heard Cody Benjamin of CBS talk about, well, you could just cut him and count your losses and move on. But who just got hired as Chicago's offensive coordinator? Former Seahawks OC Shane Waldron, who worked with Geno Smith the last 2 years. What about sending Geno to Chicago, and then you give Caleb Williams the time to learn an NFL offense, and there's no pressure to throw him on the field right away. You give up a 6th-round pick, I think, because you're adding Geno to the deal, and then you get Justin Fields involved. Now, I think it starts to make sense. And all of a sudden, too, I get some big cap relief of not having to pay the money that I have to pay Geno Smith. Kind of a trial run for Justin Fields. If it works out, then you pay him after that. To me, that could potentially be a win for the Seahawks in the best way possible. You get Geno's contract moved on. You have a young quarterback. You get to see if it works, and it doesn't cost you a ton. Now, there's 2 big reasons to trade Geno Smith. First off, Fields has that better contract and provides that cap flexibility. All of a sudden, you can start spending on some other positions, right? And you're already over $4 million over the cap heading into this year anyway. And then you reset that clock. Geno's not getting any younger here. Justin Fields is just starting to really get into his prime years potentially. You look at the numbers, and Geno Smith had a down year. Justin Fields coming off a year where I thought that he played much better in the second half of the season and showed some promise. There's not going to be a significant fall-off, I think. I think this is a risk worth taking if you're Seattle, if you get the opportunity to potentially pull this off. Which quarterback would you rather have? Would you rather go with Justin Fields, or you rather go with Geno Smith? If it's Justin Fields, type J for Justin Fields. If it's Geno Smith, type G for Geno Smith. Let me know, which quarterback would you rather roll with in 2024 with what we know now? Weigh in, tell me what you think. We are your offseason headquarters here on Seahawks Today. We're covering the coaching search. We are talking the latest news and rumors when it comes to trades, free agency, the draft, and more. Keep us locked in to Seahawks Today as we are trying to reach towards our next milestone of 49,000 subscribers. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. Check us out. Subscribe now. Seahawks Today by Chat Sports. Now, let's talk about the case against a trade for Justin Fields, because we got to keep everything equal here. You know, we got to be fair to both sides. Here's the case against it. Number one, he's been a part of a lot of losing, and I think personally that's not his fault for the most part. 10-28 record as a starter since entering the league in 2021, and with that could come a mentality. There could be a mental bump to come over when you've dealt with all that losing. And there's been the inconsistent moments to think about. And he's had a number of injury issues himself. So those are kind of the boxes that check against him. I think personally he just needs a fresh start. I think you get him out of that dumpster fire that is the Chicago Bears, a stable organization with Seattle, a brand new head coach, new offensive staff. Let him hit the reset button, and then see where things go from there. And there's people besides me that buy into Justin Fields. I buy in. I would give him one more shot. Look at the success the Bucs had this past year, giving Baker Mayfield one more shot, and now they're about to give him a long-term deal. Check this out from ESPN's Jeremy Fowler and Courtney Cronin on Justin Fields. Coaches have lauded his improved pocket presence, including his movement, footwork, and willingness to throw the ball downfield instead of taking off and running when the pocket breaks down. Perhaps what has stood out the most in that stretch has been Fields' ability to close out wins. So even with all those losses, he's turning into a winner. Now, let's ask you about Geno. Should the Seahawks bring back Geno, or should they move on from him right now? Let us know what you think. T for trade, K for keep. Chime in the comments section. Let me know what you would do with Geno Smith, and we'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.